What's up, guys, and welcome back to the UGC Dota 2 League. This isn't the game that I was supposed to be casting, but that one had a whole slew of troubles. They rescheduled or something, and then they didn't show up in the end, and well, at the end of the day, that game isn't going to happen. Instead, guys, we have another best of two between the Groovy gaming side and the VexX gaming side, so you're probably going to call them Groovy and Vex. This is, again, UGC League. If you want to know more, if you want to join in for the next season, well, for Season 2, it's already too late, and Season 3 shouldn't be happening until, December or something like that, so you're a little bit too late there, but head on over to UGCleague.com either way. Pick up the ticket and watch some games, and hopefully have a good time. This is going to be, as I said, a best of two, as it is going to be on the USC server as well. It was agreed upon, so there's not going to be any ping issues, which sometimes could be really problematic. I'm going to be your only caster for today. I am Mikelorus, and let's see what we have on the field, or what's not going to be on the field, rather. Death Prophet, Brewmaster, pretty easy bans from the Vex side and from Groovy. Razor as well as Terrorblade. Really, these bans are as generic, as powerful of heroes as you could possibly ban out, as all these heroes are pretty much widely considered to be top tier. Terrorblade is the only one that is somewhat debatable. I would say everyone else is ban-worthy, at least first ban-worthy. This is going to lead a couple of heroes into the pool. Tidehunter, I was not going to say is one of them, though he is an extremely powerful hero in his own regard. Generally, Tidehunters are, you're able to pick up a Tidehunter a little bit later. Same thing with the Visage Drow. Whoa! That just happened. That definitely just happened, guys. Visage Drow, I was gonna say oh, well, you know, if you ban out Terrorblade, then Skywrath Mage gets into the pool, and you could also pick up a first Centaur or something like that, but I guess you could also pick up a Visage Drow. Now, as much as I love seeing Drow Visage as a combination, it is not without its counters. If you get heroes that pick up blinks, or naturally have a blink skill, or any sort of mobility, maybe in some invis, like a Clinks or someone like a Bounty Hunter, then Drow Ranger is not going to have a fun time, because the idea behind Drow Ranger is that you get a whole bunch of farm, and then you use the Precision Aura to give a whole bunch of damage to your allies, and that usually works out pretty well, I would say. And the only problem is when this happens, marksmanship. It looks like it's a good thing, and most of the time it is, but once the enemies blink into your face within that 400 AoE, suddenly you're losing most of the damage, and it's not only you who's losing the damage, it's also everyone on your team, all the ranged heroes on your team, rather. So picking up a nice blinker is going to be so attractive for Groovy right now, and Drow Ranger is probably going to be shut down pretty hard. If you let Drow Ranger get the perfect picks, and if you let her farm, and if you don't have any answers to her, then that happened, and you are responsible for it. You had your opportunity to shut down the Drow Ranger completely, but you just missed it. Groovy, they're going to go with the Tidehunter Spectre. Now, this is a very odd way to go. As I said, Tidehunter you could pick up a lot later. Spectre is kind of the same thing, although it is more often nowadays that you see Spectre being banned out in the second stage. It is still a possibility, and I think with the Drow Ranger that Vex have picked up, it is unlikely that they'll ban the Spectre, because there are better heroes in order to punish the Drow Ranger, such as the likes of, well, Ember Spirit. They're going to kick them out right now. Ember Spirit is one of the big ones. Slark is a great one. Phantom Assassin is one of the best ones. Actually, I think Phantom Assassin might be the best one, which is kind of weird to say, since I literally just casted a game an hour or two ago where the Drow Ranger team ended up winning, but that had a whole bunch of things going on there that were kind of outside the Phantom Assassin. So I expect Groovy to prioritize the heroes with mobility, to prioritize the heroes with blinks, and then try to shut down this Drow Ranger. And I expect Vex to prioritize ranged heroes. We do see two ranged heroes being banned out by Groovy, Mirana as well as the Witch Doctor. Not too sure about that Witch Doctor ban, but yeah, it's going to be a very nice ban regardless. The Vengeful Spirit still in the pool for Vex, and if you're talking about plus damage, then pretty much does not get any better as far as supports are concerned. Adding a lot more damage to Drow, and then Drow is going to add a lot of damage to your VS, and then everyone's happy, sunshines, rainbows everywhere. Other heroes that Vex are going to want to pick up, even though it is going to be a very heavy range lineup for them, that is not to say it's impossible for them to pick up a melee hero. Having a really tanky hero, such as a Tidehunter or a Centaur, is incredibly useful in order to buy your Drow Ranger space. Also, Bat Router gets a special mention. Being able to initiate on the enemy, plus being a ranged hero, means that he's going to get a lot of space with the Drow Ranger, and really when you lasso someone back into the drow, you're going to be getting that kill most of the time. It is going to be a Vengeful Spirit picked up by Vex, so after all, they are going to go for the mass damage combination. The fourth pick for Vex, I expect, is going to be a Viper, as that hero is a tanky frontline and at the same time a ranged hero, so you get double value there. And for Groovy, what do they need right now? They need heroes to punish this Drow Ranger. They're probably not going to find them in the supports. We do see the Ogre Magi banned by the Vex side, but Groovy have quite a wide array of options. If they're going to go and kill the Drow Ranger, then it really doesn't get much better than the Skywrath Mage, who's currently still in the pool. Not the most synergy right now within between their other teammates, but still Skywrath Mage is just such a strong hero that even if you don't have that much setup, and they already have a Ravage setup, and that's going to be able to kill off pretty much anyone, you will be able to get some serious value out of that hero pick, pretty much no matter what. And then if you pick up something a little bit down the line that offers you a little bit disabled, then that's just Groovy. See what I did there, guys? See? So funny, so funny. But yeah, it's going to be on Undying. That is not the hero I really expected. You kind of have to have a very specific kind of lineup to make Undying work. But if you're talking about countering the enemy heroes, Visage is very soft, as is the Drow and Vengeful. So Undying's Decay is going to be hitting extremely, extremely hard, and it's going to be a great hero to just run at the Drow Ranger. It's not the best. There are better heroes that could instantly close that gap and instantly deny the Drow Ranger that marksmanship aura, or the marksmanship agility. It's not technically an aura. It might be considered a personal aura. I don't know. But deny her this 40 agility at level 1. Undying is okay at running at her, and really once the tombstone is down, Drow Ranger has no option but to just run away, as she cannot fight against the Undying and all zombies. But Groovy, with the Undying, are kind of slanting themselves to be a little bit more aggressive. That's just generally what you see with Undyings, is if you're not going to be actively fighting with them, then you're probably going to be losing the game. And Spectre is kind of the exact opposite. She wants to be extremely passive. She wants to just sit back and farm, get her items, get her levels up, and occasionally haunt in to steal a kill here and there, but that's about it. That's about all the Spectre wants. So Groovy kind of pulling in two different directions with their Spectre and Undying, and Tidehunter kind of sitting in the middle. You know, the Tidehunter could go in really any way. If you want to fight early, he's there with Anchor Smash and his general tank ability, but if you want to take it late, then eventually Double Ravage is almost guaranteed to win you a team fight or two. So I really want to see how Groovy are going to settle this lineup. And Vex, I mean, they have just such a streamlined lineup. The problem for them is that they're going to be very, very vulnerable to this Tidehunter Ravage. They have no answers to it aside from a magic missile, and then try to burst down the Tidehunter with physical. It's possible. It's possible, but it's really damn hard. So this Vex Gaming side, they need to pick up some crowd control with their last core. They would like to pick up someone who's really tanky, but the Weaver is just such a great hero to combo. Again, with the Vengeful Spirit as well as Drow Ranger, you get so much plus damage through the auras, as well as the minus armor, and then you add a little bit more minus armor through the bugs. Vex side, they're a whole team full of glass cannons, and Groovy, they are picking up, you know, good heroes. With the Lich now combined with the Undying, it's okay. But again, it's kind of pulling in different directions. Lich is not the type of support hero that could seriously punish these guys. If you want to punish them, you burst them down. You pick up the Skywrath Mage, who I am still baffled is still in the pool. Skywrath Mage eats Weaver alive. Like, if you get the silence on him before he gets Shikuchi, he's screwed. Like, there's no way, literally zero chances for him to escape out of that. So Groovy, they're currently stun light. So light, in fact, they only have the Ravage as any sort of significant stun. Vex only have one stun as well, maybe a little bit of familiar stomping later on, but that's about it. So it is going to be very interesting to see if Groovy could punish this lineup for Vex, because Vex, they have their team synergy down pat. Like, this is as clear of a plan as you could possibly have. And then they're going to ban out the Viper. That is so interesting. As I said, Viper is one of the best heroes to partner up again with the Drow, and especially with the Vengeful. So it's such a tanky hero, and it's range as well, so you're doing a lot of damage. But it seems like Vex are just a little bit concerned with their lane situation. They might want to go for someone like an Invoker as the last one, which will offer them a whole bunch of utility. TA is going to be banned out. I could buy that from Groovy. I mean, Vex are looking for one more core, and it most likely is going to be a core hero for the mid lane. And TA, Invoker, those are generally some pretty solid picks. Anyone who's ranged really is going to be what Vex want to pick up. Maybe try to pick up someone who with a little bit more bulk, but those heroes at this point are kind of few and far between, as the Viper, Razor are generally the big two, and Outside of that, I don't really know of that many. Maybe they're going to go for Troll, or no, just a DK. Okay, so they're going to abandon the range theme for their last pick, which I don't mind one bit. It's okay if you have, a little bit of a tight synergy between your heroes, but you don't really need to go all in. And DK, providing a tanky body, providing a very handy stun, is going to be a decent enough pick for Vex. He's not going to benefit all the time from the Aura of Drow, but when he's ranged, he gets the bonus as well. So I actually really like this dragon pick at the okay. Well, that happened. Okay, we're gonna remake it real fast, guys. I wonder if that was actually a real draft. Let's see. Our stand-in is having a family emergency. We need to remake after the draft. Okay, so that was the real draft. Alright. Got one go, got two go. Let's go, guys. Okay. So the Dragonite as the last pick, I really like it. It's a tanky body, once again, to kind of let the Weaver and Drow Ranger hide behind something so that they can keep firing. And it is a hero that sometimes benefits from that additional damage from the Drow Ranger, and will always benefit from the additional damage from the VS. Plus the stun really doesn't get much better than that. So I really like that. I feel like Vex's lineup, although the ban out and Viper is a little bit peculiar, their lineup in the end is going to be extremely strong. The last pick for the Groovy gaming side, I believe, was a Centaur. That's a hero that is pretty powerful. I think he is first pick material if you're going to pick him up. And hey, look at that. AP, they pick it up first. Easy peasy. But it's a very powerful hero. Once you get your Blink Daggers, you'll be able to apply steady aggression everywhere around the map. But the Centaur is going to have a really weird laning situation. Groovy Gaming, they know that the mid lane matchup is most likely, by most likely I mean like 80% plus, going to be the DK going there. And that means that they could get away with Tidehunter mid lane, Centaur mid lane. Hell, they could even get away with Undying mid lane if they really wanted to. So Groovy Gaming are going to have a little bit of advanced knowledge of the laning situation. And they're going to be trying to get a little bit more greed out of this lineup, as normally this team comp of Groovy is not going to be having really potent lanes at all, but they know that DK's lane is going to be weak. The question is, what about their side lanes? Who's going to solo the side lane? I want to say it's going to be Centaur mid, Tidehunter going towards the side lane, but he's going to have to deal with a lot of range heroes, and that's really not what Tidehunter likes. He doesn't like to be poked and prodded. He wants to be able to just sit in the middle and brawl. He maybe even is going to want to do that so much as he's going to be going against the Dragonite over towards the mid lane. But no matter really what happens, Groovy, they have a really awkward laning stage where Undying is really the odd one out. The Lich is a great partner for the Spectre. It's a nice defensive support in order to keep the core hyper carry alive. And Undying, although he does have Soul Rip, which is, I guess, a nice support skill, he's really generally going to be played as a little bit more of an aggressive hero. I have the wrong overlay up. There we go, guys. We have it all correct. Undying is going to want to be playing aggressively because DK is so good at level 1. Like, stealing 4 strength when people are working with 15, 20, 18, 23... that 4 strength, it just hits so hard in the early stages. Of course, it does fall off later on. It does do a little bit more damage, but stealing strength this early is absolutely crippling. And that's really why we see Undyings be the kings of offensive tri-lanes. Because if you could hit 3 people with Decay, you're just going to be bleeding value everywhere. And it's going to be Undying, hitting like a truck, taking pretty much no damage, especially if the enemies are strength. And Undying's going to have a great time. But in this scenario, he's pretty much relegated to protecting the Spectre. And that's not really where you want Undying. So I think this hero, Undying, could have been so much better if he was a Skywrath Mage, or if he was a Lion, or really anyone else. Any other support hero would have been so much better for Groovy Gaming. But instead, they're stuck with the Undying, and they'll, I guess, try to force a couple of early fights. Spectre, as a hero, though she does want to go for generally more farm, you can get away with fighting with her. If you pick up something like Phase Boots or Power Treads and then go straight Vanguard, then your Spectre can fight. It's not something that's ideal, but it's something that's possible. And with Groovy's other 2 cores in the Tide and Centaur, fighting early on might be what they want to look towards, and try to punish Vex for going for this very fragile, very late game heavy lineup. With the Drow Ranger and Weaver, okay fighters early on, but generally heroes that prefer to, again, sit back and farm, and then at a certain point, once they get their ultimates, go deep and try to get some kills. But it looks like we are just going to be waiting a little bit, as it's not going to be a proper Dota game without a little bit of pausing. And, well, I think we, well, there it is. We should get this game off soon enough, guys. So let's see who is going to be playing what on the Vex side. But first, let's get the important stuff. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. On the Vex side, we got Sabato playing the Weaver, is going to head towards the top lane. Will be handling that lane all by himself. Modest is going to be supporting the bottom lane as the Visage, as will the Vengeful Spirit, being played by Nunki. On the bottom lane, we got Care Bear on the Drow Ranger carry that leads Festival over towards the mid DK. On the Groovy side, we have, what is everyone looking like? Okay, everyone has the G, so it's going to be TA playing the Spectre, which is very confusing, but thank you for that. S-Bax is on the Tide Hunter. It's going to be Diesel on the top lane Undying support, along with Wicked on the Lich, and that leaves Centaur War Runner being played by Mashiro Shina. Laning mid Spectre, they could get away with a lot, Groovy. I mentioned before, they could run the Tide Hunter mid, they could put the Centaur over towards the mid lane, but they're instead trying to put the Spectre there. Now, even though Dragon Knight is not the best laner in the world, he can beat the Spectre. Spectre, as a solo laner, doesn't actually have that much going for her. She has the potential of getting extra Desolate damage. Like if Dragon Knight for whatever reason is all alone, then she'll be able to chunk the Dragon Knight down really hard. But if that's not the case, and if she screws up her block this much, then I don't see the Spectre getting much at all. This Dragon Knight should absolutely run this lane. Although Spectre does have Quelling Blade, which is, I suppose, a very nice way to open up, this lineup is just so vulnerable. Mid Spectre is so vulnerable. If Nunki or if Modest rotate over towards the mid lane, which they eventually should, then the Spectre is going to be completely boned. And the Dragon Knight doesn't have to worry about that. He's generally a tankier hero, and the enemy supports of Undying Lich, like, they're not going to be roaming around. That's just not going to be happening. So this mid lane choice of Groovy, I think, is going to be a big mistake. Assuming, of course, Vex find themselves in a position to punish, that just may not come about. The trade-off for this is the fact they're going to get the Centaur an extra bit of experience, and he's going to be getting prioritized farm. And when you have a Centaur with prioritized farm, that means that you are going to be getting your Blink Dagger a lot earlier, your Tranquil Boots are going to be coming a lot earlier as well, and generally you're going to be a lot more aggressive in the mid-game. And then at that point, maybe they want to get the Spectre a little bit of farm, but I don't think this trade-off is really worth it. Centaur will be just fine up here versus the Weaver. Like, he is going to be taking quite a few hits, but he's gone for return level 1 anyway, so it's like Stout Shield and Strength. He's going to be just fine if he was all alone, or if he was over in the mid lane versus DK, that would have been even better. This laning choice for Groovy, though it has advantages, it has disadvantages. I feel like the disadvantages vastly outweigh the advantages that they get by laning their lanes this aggressively. I guess another advantage that I'm kind of failing to mention is the fact that Spectre level 6, getting that really quick, is a great way to punish really soft heroes such as the Drow and the Weaver and the Venge, but I don't really think that's worth it. The DK is going to be doing just fine, as he could just get into a duel with the Spectre and win, and I have yet to see any sort of rotations from these two supports. They do have a smoke, but they're mostly concerned at keeping the Tide Hunter at arm's length for the Drow Ranger. They should be for a little while until the Drow Ranger gets a couple more levels. Once she has level 2, level 3, the Frost Arrows, then it's going to be pretty much impossible for S-Bax to get anywhere close to this Drow. Otherwise, he's going to take so much sustained harassment that even though he does have a good amount of regeneration, still hasn't used any, it's not going to be enough. He's actually gone for Magic Stick at level 1, which is kind of pointless, I think. Like, there's not really that much that Vex have that they're going to be spamming. Like, looking at all their heroes, there's no Bristlebacks, there's no Bat Riders or anything like that. So going for this item is pretty much wasted. Like, he might get a charge occasionally if he gets Magic Missile or something like that. And, you know, Magic Missile is not necessarily a bad item, but, you know, the Magic Stick does not charge up due to Frost Arrows. And that's a pretty easy mechanic to know. Like, Frost Arrows, Poison Attacks, all that does not do anything with the Magic Wand. They're going to go strong into S-Bax right now. They're going to launch the Magic Missile. They are in tower range, however. The damage should be enough to kill off this Tide, although he's going to hide in the trees. He's going to salve up as well. Modest, going to be sure to break that salve. Drow Ranger backing off to heal up. A good attempt, I suppose, going for the Tide, but unfortunately will not result into too much. Tidehunter is pretty damn tanky, even without any sort of real survivability items. So attempt number 1 failed on the bottom lane, but it's not to say that they're going to stop right now, as I expect them to continue on with their aggression pretty much 24/7, or at least buy this Drow Ranger enough space to be comfortable 1v1ing against the Tide. Taking a quick look up at the top, we have Weaver level 3, getting some pretty nice benefits of +8 damage from the Drow Ranger aura. The Centaur is going to be farming up freely. There's nothing really that the Vex side could do about that outside of rotations, but it looks like the rotation is going to happen first towards mid, where the Spectre is potentially in a little bit of trouble, but the smoke pops really early. Nunky will throw out the magic missile regardless, and they have the Dragon Tail. Modest is in position. He is going to land the Soul Assumption to get the kill. That's going to be Visage drawing first blood onto TA, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Rotations, so easy, so simple from the Vex side. Because you decide to lane the Spectre in such an aggressive fashion, you are going to be punished, pretty much guaranteed. And Nunky and Visage, I would like to see them potentially rotate up towards the top lane. Weaver with the VS as well as Visage, that's actually a really devastating combination. I guess it's going to be giving Groovy what they want in an Undying 3v3 matchup, but even if that is the case, Visage is such a powerhouse in tri-lanes that I think they could have a little bit of a better one, or at least worthwhile to contest it, as they shouldn't be losing that. Regardless, they are going to be chilling mostly on the bottom lane, securing the pulls, and just helping out the Drow Ranger in any way they can. Drow Ranger, it's a very important hero to get farm on. It's more important to get levels on her, and she's almost at her level 6 mark. Once she has that, the lane is going to be 100% on lockdown. Sabato is going to be playing a couple games with Diesel. Haste Rune on the Undying will try to chase down the Weaver, but not really going to result in anything. Weaver's level 4, and Tidehunter, he's level 5. A little bit of advantage for the Tide, although not really anything too substantial. Mid lane farm, 19 for 3 versus the 18 for 4. Relatively even farm, as you would really expect from this type of melee versus melee lane. But aside from that, the first blood going the way of the Visage is going to mean that Vex have a nice little opportunity right here. And even though the Spectre's on the other end for Groovy, they have a lineup that wants to be a little bit more aggressive. So the fact that Vex are ahead 1 kill and it looks like no other kills are really going to be happening is very heavily going to benefit them. That means Drow gets more farm, that means Weaver gets more time to get more levels. And overall, Vex are going to be sitting pretty and waiting for Groovy to make a move. That move should be coming about when the Centaur hits level 6, and if not then definitely when he is going to get his Blink Dagger, as that's generally when Centaurs tend to leave their lanes and try to make something happen. Whether that's going for a Weaver kill or rotating down bottom, it remains to be seen, of course, but that's when they want to make some action happen, as that's when they're going to be at their strongest. Tidehunter should be at level 6 by then as well, so then the Spectre will be able to haunt in and try to get some kills, because Spectre with mediocre amounts of farm is one of the most uninspiring heroes in the game. Like currently she's just still doing alright, as there's been relatively lax pressure on the mid lane from Vex. Rotating in for the first blood is nice, but you really just got to keep applying that pressure, because even though Spectre is over towards the mid lane, he's still a Spectre, and you gotta shut him down, otherwise you're kind of asking to be punished. So 6 minutes into the game, we see a slight advantage for Vex, although the CS is definitely coming up for Groovy. No real trigger being pulled just yet. They're thinking about going for the Tidehunter, who's completely out of mana, and DK has himself a dragon form, so this is going to be a push attempt from Vex. They will be able to do some serious damage. There is no aura just yet on the VS, kind of standard build, so it's just not going to be there until a little while later, but they have the Ring of Aquila turned on, giving the extra armor to everything, and they have Festival rotated in as well. He's going to pop the dragon form and then just go straight for this tower. There's nothing that the Tidehunter could do about this. If he gets close enough for a Dragon Tail, or for a Deny, he's going to get Dragon Tailed, and that's the tower down. They could even go for more. They could easily go for more, but it looks like they're going to play cautiously. I think this is actually a pretty big mistake. Getting Power Treads and then going for more, perhaps? No, they're just going to back off. I mean, there's nothing that Tidehunter could do about this. Just as a hero, he can't do it. If you push in a little bit more aggressively, if you go straight for the tier 2 tower, then you're forcing the enemy's hand in order to rotate someone in, else lose a tier 2 tower for free. And most of the time, that's going to be your advantage. Haunt in, and it's going to be we're over on the bottom lane, where Care Bear is going to get stampeded upon as well. Ravage is available, but unneeded, as it's going to be Care Bear stampeded down by the first haunt of the Spectre and easily brought down. So this decision not to push is all the more confusing, given that they left the Drow Ranger in the lane. Vex just lost out on a huge opportunity in order to get rotations out from the Groovy side, force out the purchase of 100 gold TP scrolls, or just get a tier 2 tower straight up. They had so much more dragon form on their DK, and they just wasted it all by backing off. So I think a pretty crucial mistake by Vex is going to cost them a kill, and going to cost them a lot of potential as well. Hopefully they don't make these kind of mistakes in the future. Groovy, not really too many mistakes being made just yet, as the only mistake you could argue is their Spectre being laned solo mid, but maybe that's just a tactical choice instead of a straight up mistake. I mean, you could definitely debate that it's a tactical choice and they decide to do that, and you could debate as to whether or not it's a mistake, but I think objectively the bottom lane not pushing, that's a crucial error that Vex made. Dragon Knight does have dragon form up once again, and they're still not going to go for this push. I guess they do have to be scared of Ravage, but when you're dealing with Gust and Magic Missiles, you have so many answers to the Tidehunter that even if you do get hit with the Ravage, it's going to take rotations from literally everyone else from Groovy. Maybe like 4 heroes total, maybe not everyone. But it's going to be forced rotations at the end of the day, and if they don't, then you take a tier 2 tower. It's a risk, and it's a gambit that most of the time is going to pay off for you. Instead, they're just going to favor just sitting back and getting more farm. They have gone for double ring of Aquila, which is a little bit odd, but I don't expect the Weaver and Drought Ranger to be playing together too much in lane. We do see the Weaver already sitting at an outrageous plus 27. Look at that, one hit on the Undying, bring him down this much HP. Pretty absurd damage coming out from this Weaver, and if he really wants to go aggressive, I'm sure you get something done. There's, of course, a Sentry Ward. Not a Sentry Rune, what the hell is a Sentry Rune? On the Undying, so he will be able to defend himself somewhat, but Sabato now is going to pull the trigger. Stampede is out, and the Stomp is out as well, and now Sabato should be chasing forward for Diesel. He's not going to go, though. Man, this Weaver, the entirety of Vex are just awfully conservative. I mean, sometimes it's nice to play that way, and with their lineup, they could get away with it. But you have a kill right there. Like, you have time lapse as well. I don't know. Together, wasted potential. They're gonna find Nunky over on the South River area, and he has already used his magic missile. Which the Spectre should be able to chase this one down. Although there's the slowdown and the Gust, and TA is gonna be forced to back off. Here comes Wicked. He's gonna get focused now. He's gonna hit with the big soul assumption. Magic missile onto the Spectre. The Gush is gonna kill off the Vengeful Spirit, but the Spectre does get the kill on Spectre, then dies shortly after. Visage is going to get denied by the neutral creeps. Breathe Fire, as the DK does rotate in from the middle lane. He's going to kill off the Spectre and the Lich, or Spectre and Lich are both going to go down. Now he's going to try to go for the Tidehunter. He's going to need to get this kill, otherwise it's just a 3-for-2 trade. In the meantime, it's going to be Weaver trading his life up on top lane for the Centaur. I guess the Undying, he's just not part of that at all, and after all said and done, that is a 4-for-3. Going in favor of Groovy. That was Spectre getting the jump on someone, and with only level 2 Desolate, doing quite a hefty bit of damage though. Vex kind of caught in a little bit of an awkward position. I don't know how the Weaver actually managed to go down there. He even used time lapse, but it wasn't enough. Ravage first usage is rather mediocre, I gotta say. Like, it got them a couple kills, but I mean, those kills probably would have happened regardless. And well, Vex still doing quite a bit of damage and not getting as many objectives as I really would like. And Mech on the DK. Now, Mech is an item that was recently changed, guys. Up from 150 mana cost to 225. Speaking of, before that, top lane is going to be the Lich in quite a bit of trouble. Sabato is going to go strong versus the Lich and has rotation from the Visage as well. We'll get hit with the Chain Frost, and he's got to run. Run away, Sabato. They are going to try to go for Mashiro in the trees, but Sabato's still very weak. He's... What? You got to be shitting me, Sabato. That was pathetic, man. Like, that wasn't even... Come on. Like, you see Chain Frost bouncing around, yet you stay there trying to kill off a Centaur? Guys, I mean... let's be honest, like, Sabato, yeah. I mean, okay, maybe he thought it was out of bounces, but that was just so stupid. That was terrible. Okay, Festival over on mid lane is going to be brought upon now as the Tombstone is dropped. Rotation in from the Visage might give him a little bit more help, and just his presence alone is going to force everyone away, although they still potentially do want to fight. The Dragon Tail is going to go the way of TA. Now the Weaver is here, going to demolish that Spectre. Now going to go for Wicked Soul Summoning from beyond the trees with the Weaver right click. It's a double kill for Vex over on the middle lane, and the Dragon Knight gets to survive. But back to what I was saying about the Dragon Knight going for a mech. The mech costs quite a bit of mana right now. It costs about half of his mana pool. And when you're dealing with Breathe Fires, which costs a very hefty 130, 100 on the Dragon Tail, it's a lot of mana that the Dragon Knight honestly can't afford anymore. So I really don't like this item choice from the DK. That being said, there's no one really great on Vex to go for that item. Modest is usually mana starved as the Visage, so he's not a great hero to go for that either. But no one's ever said that you have to go for a mech every single game. I think this is one where the DK should be going for early game fighting items, maybe go for an early drum or something like that, and then just be okay with the fact that you're not going to have a mech. They will have a mech which is going to help, but I don't know how often they're actually going to be able to cast it. They're going to get their tower denied from them over in the mid lane, kind of a half-assed pushing attempt from the DK just by himself. He was very close to getting it, and now he has his mech, but this is a hell of an expensive item. This is half of his mana pool, as I said before, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get it out. Tidehunter, you can take a look at him. He has the mech as well. And it's like, oh no, they're strength heroes. They don't have that much mana pool. Not really. He has arcane boots. And that's the difference right there. As Dragon Knight has power treads versus arc boots. Arc boots guarantee, or for the most part guarantee, that you're going to be able to get that mech off. And that's just such a huge difference. That's such a huge difference. So yeah, I don't really like this coming out from Vex. And I would say overall, Groovy playing a little bit better in this game. They're making a couple more good calls, and Vex kind of making extremely questionable calls, and now they have the Centaur packing a Blink Dagger, and this is going to be extremely dangerous for the very soft heroes of Vex. Really, the DK is the only one who doesn't really have to worry about that too much, but even then, I'm pretty sure the Centaur is going to want to test his metal right now. Blink forward for a stomp. Has the Lich to support. Double Edge is available. He's going to wait for a little while longer. Festival does get the mech off. Dragon Tail now onto the Centaur, but the Stampede is still there, and Festival's taking quite a bit of damage. Chain Frost will in fact bounce, although Modest will drag it away. Double Stomp is going to slow everyone down, but Festivals will get Double Edge in the end. Wicked is going to be brought down by Modest, and now here comes the Tidehunter. The Weaver's here as well, but Ravage is going to hit too, almost for sure. They're not even going to use it just yet. Magic Missile onto Mashiro, and that's going to bring him down very low. Ravage is now finally going to come out of Sabato, force a time lapse away. The Wave of Terror will kill off the Centaur as now Nunki is on the run. Still, it's going to be Sabato doing most of the damage, but it's going to be TA using the reality to get in, and Care Bear's here as well for some reason. I don't really know why. He's going to get beaten down as well. Groovy take a nice clustered fight, get some serious value out of the Tombstone, get a really nice Ravage onto 2, lose a Centaur, which is kind of a shame, but hell, they collect a whole bunch of heads over in this secret shop area. Nice little gold advantage and experience going their way as well. And really, it's because they took a clustered fight, and they took a close quarters fight. And that's exactly what Vex do not want. DK is okay with that for the most part, but DK was dead from the get-go. You don't want to have a close quarters fight when you're dealing with a Drow Ranger, when you're dealing with a Weaver. You want fights to be happening like in this area, when your Drow Ranger could be up here firing this way, and your Weaver could be in the back. When you're dealing with this as your fighting grounds, there's not much mobility room here. Like, you can't really go anywhere and try to move around, and your spacing is just not going to be there. So Vex taking a very questionable fight in trying to back up their DK. They might get Esbacks in response, but he has a mech and he has Stampede. He's going to turn around, in fact, for a Gush. Blink forward from Mashiro. Going to lay the mech down, and now they're going to look towards Modest. They need another Gush or a Blink Hoof Stomp or something, and the Gus will keep him safe for now, as in the meantime, bottom lane, it's going to be TA in a little bit of trouble. He will Spectral Dagger and walk out. Modest now up on top lane is going to be in trouble. Blink forward from Centaur once again. Double Edge will kill off Care Bear, and now will shortly kill off Modest. Centaur is going to land the Stomp and chop down the Visage. I don't know who this is. GK, you probably shouldn't be here. You might get a kill on the Masiro. That's not going to happen either. DK teleporting in is instantly going to be forced away. He's even in a little bit of trouble potentially. Centaur not going to blink in for another fight to the death. Unfortunately, I think if he did do so, he probably could have gotten a kill on the DK, but it is another 2 kills for free for Groovy. And Vex, their lineup is not really hitting its stride right now. They will be able to guarantee them late game damage, as that's what you do with the Drow, that's what you do with the Weaver. But if Groovy keep applying this pressure, then Vex aren't really going to be able to get much going on in this stage of the game, and that's really where they want to be doing something with the amount of damage that their supports are putting out. Even though Nunki and Visage as a hero are capable of going late game and capable of making some serious contributions, then you are kind of having a lot of wasted potential. They've already taken down one tier 1 tower, and they had the other one denied from them, so their pushing status isn't even that great. Granted, Groovy aren't pushing either, but that's not their objective. Their objective is to get the Spectre farm, who has been getting quite a bit, but has questionably enough decided to go for a Vanguard. Now, this is an item that's okay on Spectre if you want to fight early. I expect to see a Diffusal Blade next. She probably could have gotten away with just rushing the Relic, honestly, so a little bit of wasted potential once again. It's going to be, Wicked getting a lot of damage on him. The Familiar Stomp's almost going to kill him off. Now the Soul Assumption will kill off the Lich. Easy snipes from Vex. Here come Esbex a little bit too late. Spectre on the bottom lane has a Haunt available as well. They're They have to wait for everyone else to start the fight, as Mashiro is going to be coming right in. Stampede is there, dodges the gust. No, he does dodge the gust. He blinks forward, and now he's going to get bursted down. Where's the Ravage? There it is, but the Familiar is going to kill off the Centaur first. Now Festival, sitting in the Tombstone, is going to mech up, but the zombies are going to keep him permaslowed. And Groovy, they're going to take a third kill guaranteed onto Festival. They're not going to lose anyone else, I don't think, either. Modest also has quite a few zombies heading on towards him, and the slow is going to slowly start to stack up. They cannot kill Sabato. They don't have any stuns here, but they sure as hell can kill off Modest, and they will shred through this Visage. Sabato also dropping fairly low, has a time lapse if he really needs it, but he won't. It's once again a 1-for-4 trade in favor of Groovy. And this time, they could go for a tower as well. There is a lot of gold that was just picked up by the Spectre. Where did your gold... Oh, Power Treads. Okay, Power Treads being picked up by TA. Lots of gold for Esbex, lots of gold for Diesel, the survivors of that fight, and Wicked, unfortunately, wasn't in that fight, but hell, they take a great fight regardless, and Spectre is getting just more and more. This should be Groovy having a sizable advantage, and yes, that's exactly what the gold graph and experience graph are showing. Groovy have firm control of this game. They're going to go now for Care Bear. Mashiro is going to almost bring this hero down by himself. There's no way that the Drow Ranger can escape this unless Centaur just really messes up, and that Force Staff was a pretty bad move. He's now going to get upon by the Weaver. Doesn't have a Force Staff, nor does he have a Blink. He has a Stampede, but that's pretty much wasted now, as the Drow Ranger does get out of there. Centaur's Force Staff was extremely questionable, and he will pay the price because of it. I think he should have been able to kill off the Drow. Like, 80% of the time the Drow dies there, but I guess this is just one of those 20% times where the Drow does manage to slip away. We are sitting at still a very large advantage for Groovy and Sabato. He's not really holding that much damage aside from just the Drow Ranger aura, and Drow Ranger the same thing. You would expect at the very least a Yasha. I mean, geez, this Drow is just so poor in this game. Not surprisingly, the net worth is being held very easily by the Groovy cores, and they're all on the top, and I mean, their supports aren't doing that great. Undying Lich, you don't really need them to be doing that great. Undying's Tombstone is really where it's at, so he's going to be happy with his spot in this game. But Spectre is getting so much on the Spectre, and no one is doing anything to stop her. She's died 3 times, yes, so I mean, the Spectre's not having the perfect time, but still has the amount of backup needed in order to be a substantial hero in the later stages of this game. He's now going to use the Haunt, thinking about going somewhere. Where is she going to go? Where is she gonna go? Why is she over here? She reality'd over to Modest for some reason, but didn't actually do anything with it. That was kind of weird. Regardless, Groovy, they have their Ravage up. They don't have their Haunt. I really don't know why they use the Haunt there, but the Haunt is now out, and we're gonna have more pause. I really wish people would start saying why they're pausing. Like, it's really annoying where it's just like, 1 second, guys. If it's like, oh, I'm sorry, my phone is ringing and I have to turn it off or I have to silence it. It's like, okay, well, we know exactly how long or approximately how long we're going to be here for, but sec doesn't tell us anything. "20 minutes into this game, guys. Let's take a look at some of the items that are being picked up. We do see a Bracer being picked up by the DK, so going for mech drums, it looks like. A very awkward build-up from the DK. He's not going to be doing that much damage moving forward. Honestly, they don't need him to be doing damage. The Aghanim Scepter is actually almost completed for Modest, as that's going to be a very nice jump in power for him. No items in the Drow Ranger, no items in the Weaver, and that's really what's concerning for the Vex side, is their cores, they do need gold, and it's 20 minutes in. You would expect something by now, but they don't have a single item to their name, or nothing substantial. Like, they are going to be able to do some damage regardless because of the precision aura, because of the aura from Nunki, which is not yet picked up, but minus armor from the wave, plus the medallion. That's still a lot of damage that they could put onto the Groovy side. But for right now, Groovy, they are sitting pretty, and they should just stay the course. Diesel's going to be going for a Staff of Wizardry item. I don't think Staff of Wizardry Ring of Health builds into anything. Nothing comes to mind, so that's kind of weird. Maybe just a casual Ring of Health. Potentially, no, Pipe is a terrible item in this game. I mean, it's not, it does stuff, but just not enough, so it's not worth it. Maybe a Crimson Guard. I actually would like to see a Crimson Guard being picked up on someone for from Groovy. I don't think it's going to be a Spectre with the Vanguard already picked up. Spectre is sitting on quite a lot of HP and quite a lot of armor, so going for a super defensive item such as the Crimson Guard is probably going to be a mistake. You want to be going for damage items at this point. Something like a Diffusal Blade is extremely cost effective. It's 20 minutes in, she's at 1800 gold. The Radiance is still viable, but I think that'll be a little bit too late as well. I mean, it's a possibility that Spectre is going to be going for that item, but yeah, no matter what, it's going to provide some value. And I think actually with Vex having such weak heroes, just their heroes aren't bulky. They're very low strength, low health. You could get away with a late Radiance, because your burn is going to be doing so much to the likes of the VS. You're going to be tearing through those Gravekeepers, Cloak Charges, and Drow Ranger. If you haunt on her, then she's not going to have her additional damage, so I think it's a worthwhile item for the Spectre to get, even though it may be a little bit late. Tidehunter, he already has a ton of gold. Mechanism completed, Arc Boots as well, and no bullshitting around with the Blink Dagger, which is kind of weird. He's going to just go straight for a Refresher Orb. Now, even though the Refresher Orb is a good item on the Tidehunter, I think going for a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff first is just generally better. Like, you could go for the double Ravage, but it's easier to get one really good Ravage than two really shitty Ravages, I think. So, I don't know. It's a stylistic choice, I suppose, for the Tidehunter, but I would much rather like to see a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff, or maybe even both. I mean, going for both is definitely not unheard of on your Tidehunters. It's what Centaur has gone for. I mean, he's gone for both the Blink Dagger and the Force Staff. He is a hero that needs it a little bit more, as his positioning is a lot tighter. I mean, whereas Ravage has a circle like, I can't draw on the map, has a circle like this, or bigger, like, you know, like that. The Centaur's effective range is just like this. So you need the Blink Dagger and Force Staff for mobility. Stampede helps, but it's not something you could count on 100% of the time. I really don't like this from the Tidehunter, honestly. As glorious as a double Ravage is, as nice as it'll be versus the Weaver, a Blink Dagger or Force Staff will just be so much more useful. That's about it for all the items, actually, is we are waiting for something. I mean, this is not clear at all. Festival is doing something. Well, no shit, he's doing something. I'm pretty sure everyone in this game is doing something right now. So we are stuck a little bit awkwardly in this pause. Oh, this game has been so many delays. So many delays, guys. We've been like waiting since like 7 o'clock, and then the game was a little bit late, and then we decided to just go for it, and then there's more pauses, and people not telling us why. I can't wait. Gotta go, man. Just gotta go. Man, I'm exhausted. I've been casting all day. First had some Yard Red Festival games, then went over to the Brazil Game Cup, which was, of course, delayed as always, because apparently those people can't tell time. But we're unpaused, and let's see if we could get anything done. Instantly Festival rotates up to the top lane. They smoke up as 3. And this is going to be something the Spectre is not going to see coming. Do they have enough damage to kill off the Spectre? That's the question. Swap back into a dragon form. The damage is going to commence. Spectre does not have enough mana for a dagger, although now she does. The attempted dagger away. Not going to be in time, as the Venture Spirit will drop that Spectre. And that's going to be potentially a puppy pause, but I don't really think it was. I don't really think they would take a pause and just strategize like that. It doesn't seem like a good-mannered thing to do, although that's pretty much the definition of a puppy pause, is it not? It's a kill on Spectre. It's a nice little kill for the Vex side to pick up. Pretty much the most important hero for them to kill is the Spectre, so if you could kill her off at any time for free, then, well, you're not going to say no to that, will you? I'd like to see Groovy try to make some plays happen with the Ravage that they have up. It's been quite a while since they've used their last Ravage, and he's been holding on to it for quite a long time. You don't want to really hold out for a Refresher Orb. Maybe not go for a push until you get the double Ravage, or push high ground until you get double Ravage, but definitely go for the towers or something like that. His Spectre is currently just stalling out right now, and that's giving Weaver a lot more time to farm. It's giving Drow Ranger a lot more time to farm. And these are heroes that you really don't want to be facing up when they have a lot of net worth. 13-16, and this game is going to be a farm fest, I think. I think we're going to have one of those games. Oh, I told them in the lobby, I'm exhausted, play quickly. Apparently they didn't heed my advice or my suggestion, and we're going to be in here for the long haul, guys. How unfortunate. I don't know the MMR of these teams, but from what I've seen, from the mistakes that I've seen, it seems to be below 5k. Let's just say that. Let's just say that, yeah. I don't really want to make any blind guesses, but it seems like 5k is the absolute peak. Like, if these are 5k heroes, then shit, I'm so disappointed. By the way, it looks like Groovy, they are going to group up and make a push happen. Chain Frost and Ravage all available. Mashiro is going to be looking for a jump in. They have a Spectre with a Haunt as well. So let's take a look at who they're actually going to initiate it on. If they go for the Weaver, that's the ideal. But no, Tombstone. What the Tombstone? Why? Stampede now as they try to retreat and go in. What are they? What? What the hell was that, guys? Gus is going to fly into the Titan. He gets 4-staffed out, but that was the most hilariously awful thing that I've ever seen. Like, holy crap, that was bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you guys. I'm not. Like, that was just a terrible move. Like, they dropped a Tombstone in tower range, which is fine if you're going to be going in. Clearly, that's not the case. And then they used Stampede. Half of their team ran away, whereas the other half ran in. And then everyone ran away. Like, that was just 2 spells being used to accomplish absolutely nothing. I guess they didn't use Ravage for that one, but holy crap, that was just a disaster. That wasn't a disaster, it was just a mess. And they're still just planting 4 heroes in the mid lane and seemingly scared to dive this tower. They should not be scared to dive a tower right now. And they have Centaur, they have Haunt support for Spectre and a Chain Frost. With an Undying backup, they could do pretty much anything they want in this game and come out on top, but they've stalled out for a very long time now. Visage has his Aghanims. Mashiro's looking for a clean initiate, but he's just not going to find it. He needs to wrap around or something. Groovy, are they really just going to beat their heads up against this and look for this tower? It's going to take a very long time, and now the 3 Familiar is going to fly through, do some sizable damage. Gus is going to hit Mashiro as he does blink in. Now he's actually stuck in the trees. Does he? No, he's fine, but there's no Stampede. There's the Stampede now. Is he going to jump forward, try to go for Nunky? Double Edge, not going to come in time. Here comes TA. We'll try to help out. Ravage as well as Chain Frost is there, and Vex are going to get demolished by these combos. Festival is going to get Double Edge, and he's going to drop Sabato on the back end, trying to go for Wicked, but he's not going to have enough space or time to do so. It's going to be Diesel taking most of the damage, but he's going to go strong into Modest, and will get the kill onto him before he goes down. I don't even know if Diesel's going to go down. It's going to be once again the Weaver to escape, but it's a 3-for-0 trade. Ravage Chain Frost absolutely demolishing the Vex side. Almost 4,000 experience, a 2,700 gold swing off of that fight, and Groovy are going to be taking the tower in the end. Spectre collecting quite a bit, almost at her relic. At this point, I'm not sure if it's worth it, but hell, she's most of the way there. You can't abandon it right now. They take a nice team fight, they take a nice tower, and unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for me, I'm currently exhausted, they have to wait until their big ultimates are up before they decide to go again. The Refresher's almost up on the Tidehunter. In fact, he's only 200 gold away from that one, so it's going to be a nice little item for him to pick up, although the mana cost is going to be way too huge. It's in fact going to deplete most of his mana, if not all of his mana. 375, 550, 875. Yeah, it'll actually take all but 13 of his mana. And then you have no Anchor Smash, no Gush, nothing else like that, so Tide is going to be in for an awkward situation in just a little bit, where he has a nice item, but he lacks the mana to cast it, and his int growth isn't that high. 1.7 is rather low. Spectre doesn't have much either, 1.9. Everyone else is fairly smart in this game, or at least not dumb. I don't think they're dumb. DK? 1.7, okay. I'm wrong. I don't know the strength growths or int growths of everyone, guys, unfortunately enough. I know that lowest is either Troll or PA. I don't remember which one, but it's one of the two. They be dumb. They be so dumb. Looks like Groovy, they're kind of battle high off of the last fight. They're going to go for a bottom lane push. Top lane was destroyed. Weaver took that one out. Wasn't even fortified. Did they have fortification? They did. So they kind of wasted fortification there by not using it. But they will take a bottom lane in exchange, and they have a Ravage up in 20 seconds. They'll have double Ravage up as soon as Tidehunter gets a lot more mana. I mean, the Refresher Orb is nice for their Perseverance mana regeneration, but it's going to take quite a long time with Tide's low intelligence in order to get back up to full, especially when he's spamming out Anchor Smash. So, yeah, the mech, or the mech is, and Refresher Orb is going to be quite expensive for the Tide's mana pool, which is really unfortunate for Groovy, but they're not going to let that stop them. I mean, they have at least one Ravage. They're going to go for a push down on bottom, and where is Vex? They're up top trying to make a trade. DK is going to get some pretty serious damage on this tower along with Weaver, and that's not going to be responded to by Groovy. They're going to fortify, either side is going to fortify, and now teleportation back from Wicked. TA's in the area, is just willing to farm up his Radiance before he goes to do anything else. Here comes Mashiro, instantly takes the Fire Breath though as he does come in, and now he's very low. The tower wasn't even denied. And the bottom lane tower wasn't even destroyed either. The Undying left all alone in order to try to take that one out by himself. Now the tower on the bottom lane will be denied, so overall it's going to be a nice little win for Vex. Stampede now. Diesel, I guess, keeping safe from the Stampede, I guess. That's about it. And Groovy, they have pretty much all their ultimates that they really want to have at this point, with the exception of a Stampede, which they just used, and the Centaur being at half HP. But they could certainly go for a push regardless. It hasn't really stopped them in the past. We do have an Undying stalking a Drow Ranger. This is a terrible plan unless you plan to haunt in, which is a possibility. And this is actually a pretty easy kill. She has a TP, and you don't have any way to interrupt that, but you should have enough damage to burst her down. So there's the haunt, and the Undying initiate, and Care Bear is going to get shredded. Easy kills, easy life. At the same time, the rest of the Spectre, she's going to jump over to Festival, put a little bit of burn damage on him. The rest of the team right behind, they will all get mech'd up. And TA, staying around. Why are you doing this, TA? You're killing me, bro. No Dragon Tail. Swap back, though, onto TA. The Radiant's not going to help him, but there's a Chain Frost. Will bounce through quite a few units, and Festival's going to drop very low. The Radiant Spirit will take him out, and then the Vengeful Spirit straight to follow. And the Familiars are going to be farmed up. At least one of them will die. The other two probably will survive, but that's still a 3-for-0 in favor of Groovy. Ravage, crucially, wasn't even used. So he has double Ravage still. Even though they may not have a Chain Frost, they don't have a Haunt, they don't need it. A double Ravage at this stage in the game is almost just flat out game winning. Not game winning, fight winning. That'll be a little bit more accurate. And they're going to go for a tower knowing that they have that much power. It's going to be a 5v3 if Vex really want to defend this, but they shouldn't. It's going to be a free tier 2 tower for the Groovy side, going to extend their lead by just so much more. It's almost at 10k plus for both gold, and it's way past that in experience. And it's going to be a tower for them, and they could even keep going with this. Have everyone rotating in. They'll have a Haunt in 45, Chain Frost in a minute, or just rotate downwards for the other tier 2s. That's going to be a little bit of a smarter move from Groovy. No need banging your head up against a tier 2 tower when you know you're not going, or a tier 3 tower when you know you're not going to be getting much done out of it. They have pretty much complete map control, even though they don't have a single ward up. That's fine. They have all the towers up, and as long as they're moving as 5, they don't really need wards up. Like, knowing where your enemies are coming from is nice and everything. But as long as you're going to be on the aggressive, and if you're holding all the initiative in the game, then you don't really need to know where your enemies are, because you are going to be going to them all the time. Teleportation back from the Spectre. She will be able to clear the top lane, at the same time support this bottom lane push, which I expect Groovy to go for, but they're not going for it for some reason. Okay, bottom lane tower finally denied by Care Bear, so that's nice enough. Maybe Groovy want to rotate up to the top lane. I mean, really, they're just so strong right now. The only thing they're missing is a Chain Frost. That'll be up pretty much now, so maybe go for Roshan. They have Gush in order to bring down the armor, but that's about it. It's a little bit too dangerous, I think unnecessarily so. Should be a straight top lane push for Groovy. I mean, they have Ravage, double Ravage, and if you're sitting on to double Ravage, you're wasting your time. It's really just painful plays, really. I hate to see teams just stall out like this when they could be routinely just getting towers, because Vex, they can't fight in a heads-up fight. We've seen this time and time again. They've clashed like 3 or 4 times, and every single one of those times, Groovy have come away with like a 1-for-3, a 1-for-4, a 1-for-4, and then a 0-for-3. It's been just so great for Groovy, but they're still scared about going in. Like, you don't need to be doing this. Why are you doing this? I don't understand. This is pointless. Just go and kill the enemy. Seriously, like, they are so soft right now, and you're giving them time to pick up big items. BKB, Desolator on the Weaver. They're going to use Haunt for some reason. I don't know where the Spectre is going to end up going. Looks like she's going to go down to the bottom lane where TA is going to go strong versus Care Bear. He will be able to get this kill almost for sure, but is he a little bit too deep? He is now going to try to book it. He's going to run Strange Nunky. Actually going to try to kill off Sabato, almost doing so as well, but now TA is all alone. Going to try to kill off Nunky. The burn damage will just be enough. That was worth it, but so stupid for Groovy. I mean, why are you making plays like that? I don't understand. I really just don't understand, guys. Like, you could get 2 kills, but now the rest of your team can't push. If you were pushing as a 5-on-5 fight, you could get like 4 kills and survive. It was, oh man, this game is just painful to watch, man. It is just so painful to watch. So many small mistakes happening. And the scary thing is, like, I don't even know if these teams know that what they're doing. Like, maybe waiting for an Assault Cuirass, is that worth it? I think it might be worth it. Waiting for an Assault Cuirass is worth it. So getting this item for the Centaur is definitely going to be worthwhile. jumping in, killing off the Drow, but trading your Spectre when you could be fighting as a group, certainly not worth it. 100% guaranteed not worth. So we are going to have to deal with these plays, these cringeworthy plays, and hopefully Groovy are going to be able to hold on to their lead. If they throw away their lead by making plays like that, then just like, I'm out. Like 322 all day, guys. All day. Ugh. Yes, another pause. Fantastical. Maybe Spectre is disconnected because she's rethinking her life choices. I would not be surprised. I mean, I'm sure lots of people would be like, oh, what's wrong? She got a 2-for-1. That's fine. And it's not really what's going on that's really the problem in this game. It's what's not going on. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, they could have gotten so many better trades